Howdy, hey early joiners to the stream. A little bit of a rush setting myself up. I've just got back home from work, and we do actually have a couple of games already running up. Bob and Unrestricted are just in the draft at the moment. I'm gonna, when they finished, because we're sort of partway through, I'm gonna go back to the start of it and just go through the draft again, just so everyone else can see it. Okay, they've just finished the draft now. But yeah, this is the Rise of the Ancients Season 4 Centurion Division game between Bob and Unrestricted. Bob and Unrestricted actually did recently face off in the Contenders Clash tournament. And Bob managed to get a game there, we'll see. And yeah, Bob managed to go full 5 games against Yeti yesterday in the other Centurion League game. Let's see if he can step up and maybe go a little bit further this time. But yeah, I'll just go straight to the draft because the players are going to be setting up their lobby and getting themselves going soon. I don't know if anyone's streaming it, but there is a Contenders Clash game, Jesse versus Daniels in the losers bracket. I'm just might check who else is stream actually before I go through the draft. Looks like Jesse is streaming his POV, but maybe we'll go through and cast the replays of that game later on. We'll see. Music's a tad loud, so I will just turn that down a notch. There we go. So we'll see what the draft's gonna look like for the map draft. Best of 5. First map Highland as per usual. Continental, yeah, Bob will be wanting to keep himself off those hybrid maps. It'll be interesting if Unrestricted does pick some water maps, just put Bob in his outside of his comfort zone, I should say. Bob's not a huge fan of the hybrid / water maps. Prefers to just have those open land maps. Does go for muddy waters. And yeah, Unrestricted picking inland, just trying to confuse things a bit, I think. Inland, not really one of my personal favourites, just because the map spawns on it can all vary massively. See, Bob goes for his plateaus as well. So interestingly, no Oasis or Sahara this time, which I feel like is Bob's usual go-tos. Yeah, coastal. So Unrestricted, just trying to take Bob to those maps that he's not so keen on. And that is Bob's biggest weakness at the moment, is just like when he's outside of those maps that he knows very well. He tends to get a little bit lost in the later stages of the game. And hopefully that's something he will work on and improve, because otherwise he's a very good player. Like I said, being able to take games off some of the top Centurion Division players. See what the bans are. It'll be interesting if Bob does ban Minoans. I think he did that in his series against Yeti yesterday. There are sort of 2 water-ish maps. Inland can sometimes be a bit weird. Sometimes there isn't actually any, like, there's only water at the edge of the map, not in the actual middle. But yeah, he does ban Minoans again. Like Viat, Unrestricted just doesn't want to have the early craziness of the like Viat going up. Shang from both players, that makes sense. It'll be interesting to see Carthaginian Unrestricted there. I feel like it's probably worth grabbing a water sieve fairly early on. Phoenicians, Yamato, possibly could be both picked here by Bob actually. He does pick Yamato. Could maybe go Persians. Bob actually quite likes to pick Carth himself, so he might be a little bit annoyed that Unres has taken that. Hittites though, and you know, again, I've said this before quite a few times, I'm not such a huge fan of Hittites on the more open maps. And yeah, Unrestricted snapping up Persians and Phoenicians. I think that's most of the stronger civs sort of already gone. There is the Romans still left. Greeks and Chosen taken by Bob. So yeah, slightly odd picks for me for the last 3 picks. I feel like Restricted could probably just take Romans and maybe Macedonians here. I think he's quite a big fan of the Macedonians. Yeah, Romans there. And I mean, this is the 6 civs, so arguably it doesn't matter too much, but yeah, I feel like Macedonians might be his go-to. Maybe a Palmy or something like that. I'm not really sure. He's probably just contemplating. Yeah, okay, Assyrians is what he grabs in the end. Maybe he was just thinking about what Bob maybe would want to pick as his last pick, and I think Bob does tend to pick the Assyrians now and again. I've seen him play it on Highlands a few times in the Legion division in Season 2. Sorry, Season 3 I should say. And Bob's just having a little bit of a think what he might take for his last pick. And he does take those Macedonians. Okie dokie. So, like I said, I think Unrestricted's core 5 civ is pretty strong. Bob with the Shangi Amate, but I feel like Hittites and Greeks not so strong on this map selection. If Inlands does have that central river, the extra range on the Hittite scout ship line can be quite a big factor. But sometimes, like I say, sometimes you just don't get that middle section. Anyway, I think the games probably would have more or less already started. Let me just double check. Oh no, it looks like they're still just setting up the lobby. So I will take the graphic off there, just because we've obviously started the stream now. And so for Highland, I might as well go back to the draft real quick, I guess, whilst we're waiting for them to just launch the game. And so Highlands, it'd be interesting if we do just see a Shang mirror. I'm not 100% certain what will be the play here. Maybe Bob just tries to throw it. Often I see Chosen just thrown out in the first map just to try and like throw a bit of a span in the works, and then it's like if you lose as the Chosen, you're not really that bothered. Unless it's one of the kind of like, well, a lower tier civ for sure, unless your name's KT, in which case it's one of the top 2. But maybe Unrestricted goes for something like Carthaginians or something like that, just to have like a strong early game civ. But though sometimes Carth can be quite nice to start on the sort of like more mixed maps, extra wood they start with, let you get that dock up nice and early. Looks like the game has started underway. There's actually quite a few lobbies at the moment, which is actually quite cool to see. A few different 1v1 games going on, but we are following Bob versus Unrestricted today, obviously. Or tonight, well, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Okay, we do see it's just going to be a Shang mirror, and Unrestricted put on a little bit of spectator delay there. So we are just going to see Shang v Shang, and yeah, so it'll just be an old mirror matchup. We don't see that often mirror matchups with the settings that we have for some of the tournaments. My cat's decided to come and sit in my lap now. Hang on. Get myself sorted out. You sitting down or not, missus? Okay, you are. And we'll take ourselves to the capture age view, just as I get myself sorted out here. Oh, I have not used the music, so I will just do that real quick as well. There we go. Mirror again. Okay, I guess I didn't actually see the full series between Bob and Unrestricted in the Contenders Clash series, so I guess maybe they had possibly a Shang mirror there as well. It's going to be Bob first to go to the centre though, so he's going to grab himself those elephants. Are you sitting? Where are you going, miss? Sit down. Sorry, the cat's being a bit antsy. And Unrestricted's berries are actually like lined up right back to back, right in the middle of the map, which I mean, it does mean he's going to spot both of those, but also means they're in a reasonably vulnerable position. But yeah, Bob's already first to get to the centre there. And Unrestricted is going to be a little late to the party. Bob's actually going to grab another elephant. Is that one of his own elephants? It is, I believe. Where are the other 2 central elephants? I guess it's this one here and that one there. And Unres, yeah, going to be left a little bit elephantless this time. Be interesting to see how much exploration he does go for, if he will keep trying to find a couple of those other elephants. Maybe it looks like he might possibly sneak through the gap in the woods there. And is it going to be the classic one tile miss? There it is. Unfortunate for Unrestricted there. He will find his personal elephant, or at least the one on the top side there. But yeah, it's just that unfortunately that the old one tile miss. And Bob already pushing his gazelle in. And you can see unres. Only 3 seconds for Bob, 0 seconds for Unrestricted. Pretty nice. Obviously for the shank, cheaper villagers, it's usually pretty easy to keep that time down. And Unrestricted is always going to have this villager forward. He probably figures he may as well just go for a little bit of scouting for the time being. Obviously it means a little bit of lost villager work rate. Bob does see the villager and tries to mark it. Does still have it in the sight. Decides to let it go. But Unrestricted knows he's more or less in the right place now. Potential forward barracks coming down. Although that said, the villager's going quite a ways off. Maybe he's just thinking he may still be being chased. Storage pit goes up at the back. It's actually slightly unfortunate. Yeah, Bob doesn't see that, but there's like a big gap at the back there, so it's not the best of storage pits, but it's going to be decent for the time being. He should be alright. And they'll just have to build another storage pit later on in the game, depending on how long this game goes on for. But this villager here just kind of just chilling at the moment. Probably just waiting to place down that forward barracks at some point. Bob, I don't know if he's just trying to like spot out a potential forward barracks with this villager here, or if he is thinking of going forward himself. Unrestricted with a little bit more idle time there. Like I said, this villager's essentially been an idle villager. Obviously it's been doing some exploration, but it hasn't been gaining any resources, so maybe that was the little bit of the difference there. But 20 pop up for both players, and Bob's going to have a 16-second advantage. No barracks down. Okay, it's just coming down now. It's going to be at home. Oh, and Unrestricted finally finds the elephant, which means he's probably just going to... will he find the other one here? No, not quite. But yeah, it looks like he's just going to bring that home instead of building a forward barracks, and indeed the barracks does go up at home. He's going to sort of try and form a little bit of a wall by the looks of it, incorporating the stone in the wall there. So, okay, double barracks at home. Interesting. Maybe Bob just thinking that Unrestricted would go for a forward and just wants to be fully prepared. Obviously, we know that's not the case. And Unrestricted is kind of just... There's actually a little bit of a gap between there and the tree. But anyway, I don't know if that will be relevant or if Unrestricted just ends up full walling this section here. And indeed, small wall does come in. Mark it as the first tool age building from Bob. So he's not going to add in any bows or the like just yet. Maybe this means he's thinking of adding in slingers. He's obviously just researching Axa at the moment. Here we go, slingers in the queue. And Unrestricted is building an archery range, so that's going to be a pretty nice call for Bob there. Doesn't have the food yet for stone mining to come in. But he does how much food has he got left on his elephants? Quite a decent amount, still over 400, and still has quite a few gazelle left. So doesn't need to worry too much about getting onto farms just yet. His berries at the front there. Where's the other patch? Some at the back. A little bit. Yeah, a little bit of a lack of exploration there. I guess he could have just sealed this up in here and get that gold inside the wall, but he's just going to tight wall for the time being. Make sure he's safe. And yeah, Unrestricted did just wall behind that. In fact, he just walls to his TC there. But yeah, both players kind of just setting themselves up for the time being. A little bit more extra idle time from Unrestricted there. It's a little bit surprising to me, considering there's not really been much going on. And he did have the resources. But yeah, woodworking coming in already for both players. I didn't actually see, I wasn't paying attention to stone mining. Yeah, so stone mining's still not in yet. And actually that means, yeah, Bob's actually going to have to collect some more stone. There we go, to get stone mining in, because it's cost 50 stone to stone mining. It's a little bit annoying. Sometimes if you just spend all that stone early on, you got to actually collect a bit more before you can even get the stone mining upgrade in. It's a little bit unusual because, like, the gold mining upgrade, I'm pretty sure doesn't cost gold. Maybe it does actually. I might have to check that later. I'm fairly sure it doesn't though. Obviously, gold mining, you don't really ever get that until much later in the tool age, pretty much as you're advancing to third age, as nothing costs gold in Age of Empires 1 before the Bronze Age. But now we do see a bit of a push forward by Unrestricted. And it doesn't have any upgrades on his axes, but like I said, he did have the woodworking on his bows. And then we got a bit of that mixed army from Bob. And with 3 slingers in, should be able to take a pretty decent fight here, even without the stone mining upgrades. Does have the armor on his axes. Obviously, that doesn't help against the ranged units. So it might be a little bit of just with players not wanting to chance anything just yet. And yeah, okay, the idle TC time sort of closed up again. It looks like Bob had a little bit more idle TC time as well. And in fact, I think must have, yeah, okay, he did get needle working in because he was slightly behind on the Vil count for a second here, and there, and Unrestricted still has the 25 HP villagers. So yeah, Bob, I guess, like I said, with the double barracks and the needle working, felt like it was a little bit under pressure. And stone mining coming in now. I think at this point you can actually pretty much just leave at most 2 villages on the stone, otherwise you end up having a big, huge horde of stone. It's actually quite surprising how quickly that builds up, especially because the slingers, I think it's only 10 stone that the slingers cost, so not much stone at all. So you just need a bit of stone, there you can see here. And there's actually long hauling stone here with 3 villages apparently. We might see a bit of an engage here. Stone mining is in now, like I said. And we have 6 slingers on the field, which I think probably means that Bob has the slight edge here. Majority, yeah, there's 9 bows. 6 slingers should be able to deal with that. And now Bob feels brave enough to move forward. Tool working just coming in now. But yeah, I think those axes, it's more not going to be that big. Yeah, they're kind of just going to truck each other. It's more just how they utilize the ranged units here. Like I said, with a couple of slingers had been sniped down, but only bows left for Unrestricted. Does have the numbers advantage, but there's a lot of pierce armor on those slingers. 3 base pierce armor means the bows will only do 1 damage back. And Bob's managed to click up to Bronze Age. Looks like he idled his TC for a little bit longer just to save some food. Unrestricted pretty close behind. And so he's also 4 villages ahead. So I think he's still not got needle working in. Yeah, he's still got not got that upgrade in. Trying to just give himself a little bit more space. There is actually a gap behind here. So potentially that could be a cause for issue. Maybe he'll just add like a couple of TCs just to place farms and stuff down here, or just add a few more military buildings and stuff like that. And where is Bob's army? That's just a villager sneaking forward there. It'll be interesting to see what this guy does. Domestication, just a few, and yeah, gold mining, just a few of the eco upgrades coming in. Double stable from Unrestricted. So it'll be interesting to see if he just goes straight into cavalry, or if he feels like he may need to just go into camels to cover off Bob going into cavalry. Bob is he's going to add these stables down here. Okay, yeah, so it's going to be stables of his own. Unrestricted. Bob nearly very close to chopping through that. Unrestricted may be able to punish the wood line regardless. Bob does hit the Bronze Age very slightly faster, wheeling for both players. Tool working only just coming in now for Bob. Doesn't really have the resources just yet to get the military units pumping as well. I said it looks like Unrestricted isn't really making any cavalry units, and we do see the bows move in. Going to get a couple of quick villager kills there. Oh, interesting. Infantry armor. I don't know if that's a misclick by Bob. And okay, yeah, so Unrestricted does feel the need to go for the camels. Camel Priest, okay. So that always feels like he's anticipating Bob just going for cavalry. I mean, he does have a stable, but okay, he's switching straight into the academy. Interesting choice by Bob. Priest will cover that off if Unrestricted can get a few of those up and running. Gold miners are going to be a little bit in danger here. But the tool age army from Bob is wrapped round. Should be able to pick off all the bows now. I should just let these guys do their due. Yeah, there's plenty of units there. And artisanship coming in straight away as well. I guess just for the eco side of that. Because he obviously is not really making any sort of ranged unit anymore. And yeah, just a couple of slingers left to pick off the last bows. So yeah, Bob did lose a couple of vills there. Has added in a second TC. Unrestricted set himself up on 4 TCs. Does have a decent amount of food in bank as well. These initial camels, they're just chilling in the stables for the time being. Siege Workshop going up at home. It's interesting that Unres is going for that so early on. Hoplite might get converted here. That's maybe a little bit unlucky that it got converted so quickly. Potentially Bob could have deleted that. But yeah. Unrestricted, yep, taking into the priest upgrades now. So here, possibly Bob should consider following this up with potentially with a chariot archer, just to try and pick off the priests. That Stonefront looked like it got cancelled there actually. And cavalry being added. So we're getting very different unit compositions, just straight into the hoplite. For going to be another couple of conversions here. Pre-skin, a good amount of effectiveness already out. We might see a little bit of a battle here though. Hoplites I think just need to fight instead of running. Bob just needs to focus down the priests. Hoplites going to shoot up the camels. Quite a few hoplites did get converted though. So I think yeah, Rez getting good value out of those priests, and you can see the recharge rate is already really ready to try and convert again. It's going to get picked off though. Stonethrower is going to get taken down. Takes down a few slingers with it. And the initial wave of cavalry cleans up all the tool age bows, but will probably go down here to the hoplites. Does manage to clean up another slinger. Couple of siege workshops already down. So we may see a push from Bob. Unrestricted already up to 81 vills. Only with 2 military units left. Trying to pump out the priest, and siege is just the combination for the moment. Potentially Bob could just add in priest of his own. You can always just try and convert back your units that they convert. It's one of the old I'll take yours and you'll take mine to and fro strategies that you can actually use. And actually taking into improved bowman, which presumably will go to the composite bowman as well pretty soon. Medium walls coming in. The stone throwers already out on the field, a couple of them. It means Bob's going to be able to fairly easily break through. And Rez did clog up that gap there, I just remembered there, so decided to check it. Hoplite's getting a little bit near to the action. He's going to get taken down by his own stone thrower there. That's a little bit unfortunate. Whoop, stop! Okay, we're good. But yeah, improved bow already in, though Unrestricted has yet to make a single improved bow. I think he only has... oh no, he has loads of archery ranges. Where are they? They're at the back up here. Hiya, Jesse. Thanks for the raid. It's already a pretty interesting game one. Again, Priest being a little bit annoying. Like I said, I think I'd like to see just maybe like a dozen chariot archers just added in behind this, just to try and snipe off some of these priests, stop them from being so annoying. Whoa. Stonefront just about stays alive from the converti. Bob trying to sneak around the back, but Unrestricted going to be able to make sure that nothing happens here. Although it's gone a little bit weird there. The villager they're all on top of each other. Bob adding in a 5th TC. TC on the middle map on the gold there for Unrestricted. But yeah, it's just these priests at the moment being very annoying for Bob. I think this hoplite, okay, it's not going to be able to pick off that. I wouldn't have thought. Oh, deleted the wall. Quite nice. So yes, these stone throwers are actually going to go down. So it's quite a nice little bit of quick thinking by Unrestricted there. But yeah, like I said, I think yeah, like I said, not loads, just a few chariot archers just to try and just snipe off these priests. So the priests do have slightly longer range, but you can try and pull them away while they're doing the conversions. And here we go, the first composite moment coming out now. In fact, it's already 22. I was getting a little bit distracted. I mean, Stone Throw is already on the field for Bob, so he already has the counter units to these hoplites. A few more conversions coming through. So Bob's going to find this quite annoying for sure. 117 vils to 75, and now Unrestricted. Give the numbers, but we've broken through the wall. There's quite a lot of stone throwers at the back. I don't know if the hoplites are going to be able to get through this. Obviously, they are very tanky units. But Unrestricted with a lot of firepower on the field already. I think most of these hoplites going to get taken out. Ooh, some good stone thrower hits at the back here on the composite bows, though. But most of the hoplites going down the drain. Stone thrower is a little bit deep, and that stone thrower is going to get converted. And a little bit micro from Restricted's composite bowman there. Some high APM gameplay going on. Stone thrower might just about survives, but this one, I think that was a converted one. I was going to say how on earth did that get there, but I'm pretty sure that was a converted stone thrower. Just trying to keep track of all the action. And now I think the military numbers being very highly in favour of Unrestricted is going to make this a little bit difficult for Bob now. Unrestricted has a massive surplus of gold. Could buy a little bit of food if he wanted to. Potentially even go to the Iron Age. Bob adding in some emergency stables here. It's going to try and go for cavalry, I assume. Try and deal with these composite bows, but 29 of those are already out on the field. And it's quite a scary unit once it does get massed up. And Bob, well, both players clicking Iron Age, and yeah, you can see a little bit of buying and selling going on to get that from the players. But yeah, Bob only on 2 military units though, trying to, I guess, tech switch into the Scythe Chariot. The Scythe Chariot upgrade takes a very long time to come in. It's also very expensive. Unrestricted getting control of the map now. Yeah, nobility, sorry, not mobility. But yeah, it's just these regular Bronze Age chariots are a little bit of an underwhelming unit. Yeah, I think Unrestricted is quite easily going to be able to kite this out. Nobility being added in for Unrestricted as well now. And yeah, I think it's just going to be one of those cases where Bob's just never going to be able to get his military count high enough to really contest Unrestricted now. And again, possibly if Bob had added in some sort of ranged unit other than just the stone thrower to that push, and the hoplites could have got through. It was a little bit stubborn, just stuck with the hoplites. And Restricted was already ready with a handful of priests when the push came in. A whole bunch of villagers going down. Iron Age is going to come in for both players, almost only about 10 seconds apart at most. And yeah, like I said, okay, cavalry has been added in now. Getting a few kills at the back would be it. Bob taps out. Probably the right thing to do here. And I guess maybe you could argue Bob shouldn't really have gone for the Iron Age there. He needed to mass up some units, but then obviously Unrestricted would just have been an Iron Age with all these units. Yeah, he's already getting ballistics and some of the other upgrades in. And yeah, it's a nice push from Bob. The hoplites coming in early, but Unrestricted went for those priests early as well. That was the first conversion there. And just, yeah, in fact, let's have a look at the number of conversions he did get this game. Is it in military? I can't remember where it is usually. Is it society? It's got to be a military, right? Yeah, 12. Okay, there we go. 12 conversions. And that's a pretty heavy loss. It's basically a 24 unit swing, that, with Bob losing 1 unit and Unrestricted gaining a unit at the same time. Makes, yeah, just going full hoplite a little bit difficult. But yeah, we'll get ourselves into game 2. But yeah, it was a little bit of a testy tool age there. Neither player wanted to overly commit. I think Unrestricted, despite being probably, well, yeah, obviously the highest seeded player usually in most tournaments. Obviously this is just the league. But he respects Bob's prowess in the early game. He's a very strong player in the early game. We'll see if Bob can potentially bounce back and take a game. So, next map is going to be Plateaus. I'll take us back to the draft real quick. So we're going to go to Plateaus. So one of Bob's maps. And I've not really seen that much of Plateaus. I'm not really sure what civs people prefer to play on that map. I presume it's still fairly open of a map. You do have quite a lot of wood lines though, but you normally it's possible to wrap around the back of the base stuff. I feel like Yamato should still be a decent pick there, but at the same time I feel like Bob probably wants to save Yamato for one of the water maps. So yeah, again, it'll be interesting to see what Bob grabs from his draft. Maybe Unrestricted goes to the Persians. I think there's quite a few elephants in the middle of the map on Plateaus, so he could potentially use the Persians here. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I'm don't really know what people consider the top picks on Plateaus, because it's only a map that's sort of been started to be being picked in the last month or so. It wasn't a very popular map pick before then. Okay, so it's actually, I think, a couple of civs that I did not predict at all. We've got Unrestricted going for his Assyrians pick, which was his last pick. And Bob's gone for the Hittites. So we've got the 2 archer civs. And unfortunately, well, I was going to say unfortunately for Unrestricted, but obviously it's still quite strong. I think the Hittites is just the better of the 2 civs, personally. The +1 damage bonus just better than the faster firing bonus of the Assyrians. Plus the Hittites get an ability for their chariots and horse archers. Plus the Hittites actually get the heavy horse archer, which the Assyrians do not. The Assyrians theoretically have a very slightly better economy with their faster working villagers, but honestly it's not that big of a difference. It's probably about 1% faster eco at best, and honestly that probably gets negated mostly by the Hittites getting that cheaper wheel, getting it in faster. So it'll be interesting to see if we do see much tool age action, or it mostly gets taken to the Bronze Age again. Neither civ has the slinger, but the Hittite +1 bonus on their bows is just simply stronger, mathematically speaking, than the Assyrian fast firing bonus. Because yeah, +1 damage on a 3 damage unit is at 33% damage increase, so you need a 33% firing faster firing bow to match the damage output. Unrestricted is going to be the first to have a look around for some Elephantos, and he's going to find a 2 hit. Bob may, okay, I was going to say, he may find these just because they're sort of on his side of the map, but it looks like, where was my button there? You just sort of like right click the middle of the map, and he's going to sort of end up here and not finding his elephants. Unrestricted did drop aggro. And he didn't spot the elephant there, but it's always wise to sort of like go out one way and then come back so you actually do a little bit more exploration. But looks like Bob's probably going to do a full lap of the lake, which means he still may find these elephants here, but obviously just a little bit more idle villager time. Speaking of idle TC time, 5 seconds and 0 for Bob at the moment. And okay, another little drop of the aggro there. And Bob is going to find his elephants now. Not those elephants. So it's going to be 4 elephants for 4, assuming both players find their own personal elephants. This plateau's, the actual flat of the plateau at the top is quite large for both players here. I've seen this map where, like I said, sometimes you actually have this all the way around the back of your base. So it's like makes it kind of hard to go back up, right back up to the side of the map, which a lot of players try to tend to do with their walls. They'll try and wall to the edge of the map. And Unrestricted base, fairly open on a few sides. It's not impossible to wall, but you'll have to probably get a bit of extra stone. Where actually is his stone? Am I just not seeing it? Do you not get? Maybe you don't get a local stone. There's stone here for Bob. Is that just? Maybe there's just one patch of stone on the top of the plateau. Like I said, again, I'm not 100% familiar with plateaus. I've only seen it a couple of times, and the games on this map tend to be pretty quick. In the back behind. Oh yes, of course. There you go. Carver's more eagle-eyed than I am. So there is the stone. Okay, so they do have a couple of patches each. I guess the one is their actual spawn, and then you get an extra spawn on top of the hill hit. There's a few resources in the middle of the map as well. So you got gold at the top here as well. But yeah, this is it feels like a slightly unusual spawn from what I remember, just because the plat at the top of the plateaus don't tend to be this big from my memory. Meanwhile, though, sneaky villager around the back from Unrestricted. A little bit more idle TC time for Bob means Unrestricted is going to get to the tool age very slightly quicker. In fact, Bob hasn't actually explored to find his elephants yet. I guess he's happy to just grab the gazelle here. It's a little bit of a long trek to the storage pit. Also, there's not actually many villagers collecting from those in the elephant. So a lot of those that food's going to get a little bit wasted to rot there. Forward barracks up for Unrestricted. Clubbers on the way. Barracks at home for Bob. Village takes a bit of a whack from the elephant there, but no real harm done. And it'll be interesting to see if Bob does just queue up Noodle working fairly early like he did, the last game. Last time he felt a little bit pressured. Like I said, he went for the double barrack start. I think potentially thinking Unrestricted was going to forward barracks. This time he has forward barracks. And yep, okay, there we go. Maybe not actually. Nothing being... I thought, because when the age came in, it was still glowing gold. 2 clubbers against 1. Does not go. Bob just trying to wall himself up with his buildings. 1 clubber will be the sacrifice to get that up quickly. So this will slow down the initial push. As Unrestricted isn't going the open route. I guess he hasn't actually seen that yet. I feel like Unrestricted probably know that his opponent isn't fully walled yet, so it seems a little bit not the best choice to just try and go through the front door. Archery range is going up here though. And like I said, Syrian's bowmen should just be weaker than Hittite bowmen. This might come about if we do just go bowman mass. This might just come out down to who gets the woodworking technology in though. like I said, neither player can make the slinger. And a brave man could have tried to add in the stable and go scouts. But scouts is a pretty large investment. And also there's axes on the field. Ooh. Did Bob just delete that? I could allow a couple of bows to slip on through. Gonna have a little bit of fight up here, but Bob heavily outnumbered. Bow goes down. Not exactly sure why this got deleted. Did it get deleted or did it get destroyed? I don't want to. I was going to go back and check, but there's quite a bit of action already happening, so I don't want to miss out on anything. Okay, another house goes up. Villager might get killed though, and it does. And Restriction might sense a weakness and go on through here. It's actually going to finish off this one house. It's a very low health. I'm going to quickly skip back and just see what happened to that house. Yeah, Bob literally just deleted it. I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of that was. Make sure I'm up to date. In fact, no, let's slow that down a bit. Okay, so 8 Hittite bows against 8 Assyrian bows. Bob should have been able to take that fight. Felt a little bit scared just by the quantity of units. A lot of those units were axes though. And Bob is actually housed now with all his houses being taken down. He's going to need to get a few of those up pretty quick. It looks like he's... Okay, there we go. He's putting 1 down now, but he actually needs to build another 2 on top of that. Okay, he's taking a bit of fight now. I think Bob just needs to stand his ground and find that. Yeah, oof. I think Bob didn't need to tap out. I think he didn't really take into account the power of the Hittite bowman there. You can see he was just like edging his units back and forth, which means he just wasn't firing. His bows which weren't firing, which is scared of the massive units. Felt like he needed to micro. Unrestricted, basically not even microing his units at all. I think that was a little bit... I think Bob should have had a little bit more faith in the Hittite bowman there. Like, he is behind on military numbers, but he could have quite easily won a trade there. Knocked out a few of the bows before the axes managed to close the distance. Possibly it was just the fact that he was housed and he just felt like he was never going to be able to match the numbers because of that. Though again, he probably should have anticipated that a little bit with Unrestricted punching through the front door. So 2-0 to Unrestricted, and Bob losing out in the Archer Wars there. Syrians getting the better of that one on this occasion. Gets ourselves into game 3, which probably means we're going to go to Muddy Waters, as that is Bob's other map that he chose. I'll just get ourselves back to the draft real quick. So let's have a quick look. Yeah, it is indeed going to be Muddy Waters. And we saw the Assyrians win up against the Hittites. Like I said, I feel like Bob, I don't know, yeah, just underestimated the power of his bows there. Didn't really fully utilize them. Let Unrestricted just take a few free fights, and Bob just lost a few bows here and there in the earlier fights. And yeah, I think Bob should have just been able to go full bow this game, and Unrestricted would have been forced to, I think, add in scouts, or he was just in trouble. But I think maybe Bob got a little bit in his own head there. Maybe just giving Unrestricted maybe a little bit too much respect, and not trying to take advantage of the power of his civ there. Anyways, again, Muddy Waters. Potentially Persians from Unrestricted if he wants to spend the time finding all the extra elephants in the middle of the map again. Similar to what I said last time. Otherwise, maybe Unrestricted just actually brings out the Carthaginians here as his probably strongest most consistent early game save. Obviously, Persians are still pretty good in the early game. But if you don't find the extra hunt, which can be a little bit awkward on muddy waters, sometimes it's just better to go with just the more solid, guaranteed resources that you get from the Carthaginians there. And again, I've got to say, I'm not that keen on what civs Bob has left. Again, Yamato feels like it needs to be saved for a later map. But then what civ do you really pick here instead? Maybe you go for the Chosen and just try and go for some Axis shenanigans, maybe get some towers down, just try and make things messy. I'm not exactly sure. Like I said, I feel like Unrestricted got the much stronger draft here. I feel like these 5 civs here are all very solid, whereas I only really like the top 2 from Bob. Hittite's obviously a very good civ on certain maps, but just for the particular map pool we have, not so great, I would say. But anyway, we are going to get ourselves into game 3. Hopefully Bob can step up. Oh, interesting. So Bob did pick his Chosen, and Unrestricted went for the Romans. So we just saw the Archer matchup, and now we're going to see the Infantry matchup to follow that up with. 2 pretty similar civs, the Romans and the Chosen, though I think most people would agree that Romans were the generally stronger civilization, both with their tower bonuses and infantry swordsman line bonuses. Hiya Odin, how you doing, man? Hope you enjoy the stream. But yeah, like I said, we're going to have ourselves an infantry war. And like I said, I feel like I favoured the Hittites for Bob in the Archer War, but again, I feel like I favour the Romans in the Infantry War. Just got home. Very good. Yeah, I only just got home in time to start casting this series myself, so I know that feel. Works work. But yeah, like I said, there are quite a few... I guess there aren't actually... I always think there's more elephants on this map than there actually are. There's actually just the same 4 as there are on quite a few of the other maps, really. Oh, playing disc golf. Interesting. Fair enough. I've never actually played disc golf myself. Have played the odd game of regular golf in my time, but not tried the disc golf. I know some people... There's a place near me where you can play... Is it just called foot golf or football golf, where you just kick a football around instead? But I've never really understood the appeal of that one. I guess maybe it's just because it's quite a bit easier than regular golf. The disc golf always sounded really hard in my mind. But anyway, not to get too distracted. Hope you had a good time there. And we'll see. Okay, so it is Unrestricted going for the middle of the map already. Is that the one tile miss? No, it does actually see that elephant. Grabs the artifact as well. It's always nice for a little bit extra exploration. Be interesting to see if he does see this. Okay, I was going to say if he does see that elephant, if he goes back to try and get it, but then the artifact went in a slightly different direction to what I was thinking it would do. And just the 2-second idle TC time for Unrestricted at the moment. But yeah, I feel like the elephants thing's a little bit deceiving. I can remember I picked this map. I think it was in the Season 3 of Rise of the Ancients. I can't remember who my opponent was. And I picked Persians on this map, and I didn't find like a single elephant. Actually, I think it was against Jesse. I didn't find a single elephant in the middle of the map, and then I was like, oh well, there goes my advantage. Maybe Mace would actually be quite good on this map, just because all the elephants are quite spread out. It's just coincidence that they all seem to be against. For some reason, I just seem to play against you a lot. And yeah, just trying to see. There's not really much out of the ordinary happening just yet. Unrestricted, yeah, just pushing some of his Ibex in, as he's already done so with a few of those. Looks like Bob's basically done the same, putting up his storage pit now. Yeah, I feel like in this series in particular, he's. I mean, he said he played pretty well in the first game, but I think he just needed to add in some sort of unit diversity. Just the Hoplite and the Stone Thrower by themselves made it a little bit too easy for Unrestricted to try and counter that. And then the second game, like I said, I feel like he was slightly over-respecting the stronger player in the matchup. I feel like he could have got a lot more work done with those Hittite bowmen than he gave himself credit for. Either way, both players are going to hit the age up button, only 4 seconds apart. Both going up at 20 vils. Very slight advantage for Unrestricted here. It's actually quite good for the Chosen player, because obviously the Chosen don't get any Stone Age bonuses. But then they get the much cheaper storage pit techs and the higher HP axes in the Tool Age. The Romans should have saved maybe something, it's not like a huge amount, something around like 70 wood or something like that by this point, which does help towards your first Tool Age buildings. And actually, Unrestricted is going to spot this barracks. I think the barracks will... Okay, no, Bob goes to the fight. These villagers will just trade off. Well, they won't now. Unrestricted made that an unfair fight. And the barracks, 75%, 74.32, gets denied. So even if he deletes that there, he's only going to get a quarter of the resources back. And like I said, what potentially was going to be a decent position for the Chosen's now pretty much gone all down the drain. Double barracks for Unrestricted. And this is definitely going to put Bob massively on the back foot. Not only in terms of resources, it just means that those clubbers are going to be late to coming out onto the field. And archery range has already been added in by Bob. Let's see, get archery range from Unrestricted as well. For the time being, he's just going to keep hitting this barracks. Probably doesn't need to do that. The barracks isn't really going to do anything for the time being. Axer upgrade coming in now. It's kind of interesting he went for the second barracks, but doesn't actually really have the food to support double barracks production here. So maybe he could have just switched straight into the archery range. So actually, both players have spent basically the same amount of wood on buildings now. Oh, third. Oh no, sorry. For some reason, I literally just talking about this barracks, and then I got confused myself, thinking a Restricted was going for a third barracks there. Anyway, it's been a long day at work. Brain's slightly frazzled. We'll get there. But anyway, the initial axes are going to be met by the bows, and the bows are already back here in defence. So Bob shouldn't really be under any real threat here. Axer did get the tool working upgrade. In fact, they both got the armor upgraded as well. So, like I was saying, Unrestricted putting a lot of resources into a unit that's not really going to get much work done here. And Bob, are just switching into the Slinger. So that means Bob, in a way, kind of got his resources saved, quote unquote, from not having to put any food into the Axer upgrade and clubbers. Which at this point, kind of, the time of the Axer has passed. Time of the Bowman has begun. And woodworking coming in nice and early from Bob as well. So he should be able to get... Okay, in fact, he's adding clubbers in to support this. Interestingly. What are you doing, Cat? I'm trying to cast a game here of Age of Empires. It'd be interesting to see if Bob sends like another villager forward to just finish that barracks off, and then maybe start making slingers again from there. I don't know where that alarm went on from. Maybe that was like a crocodile or something. Oh yeah, there we go. A tiger at the back. And got a good mass of bows, but the walls are coming up there. This villager might get caught out though, and down it goes. Which does mean we didn't get the full small wall up in time. Bob should just be able to start trying to push through the barracks here. So yeah, starts giving that a few shots. Slingers are being added in. But Bob, like I said, already has woodworking in. Woodworking is now coming in for Unrestricted though. But Bob pulls back. Not prepared to commit just yet. And it is just checking to make sure there are no holes. And I think it is fully walled. Looks like Bob's just looking for potential weak points. I feel like if you see this many walls at this point, and you right-click in your base, and it doesn't put your dudes in, you've got to assume it is fully walled. And Bob doesn't even go to check in the end. He's just having a look around. So this is, yeah, going to give Unrestricted time to get Slingers and the stone mining upgrade in. So what was quite a big advantage for the military, for Bob, kind of going to get wasted now. It's just shooting the house. This will be a little annoying. That will house Unrestricted, actually, so that's not a terrible play. Slinger's going to get a couple of shots in, but not too much damage. And extra villager coming forward from Bob. I'm not exactly sure what the idea is there, but all this time Unrestricted has less idle TC time. Training these villagers one for one, up 3 villagers, and he's going to slowly work his way up to the Bronze Age, where I'm pretty sure the Roman faster attacking broadsword is just stronger than the chosen one with the high HP. So I think the chosen broadsword gets extra, is it 30 HP? I can't actually remember exactly what it is. Maybe it might be a bit more than that actually. But the Romans get 33% faster attacking, which I'm pretty sure means they win that trade. It'd be interesting to see if it is just like a broadsword war. Don't very often get this matchup, so he's kind of the only 2 civs that really go for the broadswordsman line. I think the unit's actually pretty good for its cost, so there's a lot of times people should just add it in as a meat shield. But you do have to have like the barracks down, and I guess you have to pay for the storage pit techs as well. So a lot of time you don't want to waste resources going for that. You'd rather just stick to like a stronger unit. Gold mining is coming in early though for Unrestricted. Both players on the way up to bronze. Unrestricted is already halfway there. Like I said, these bows just haven't really got much done. They did pick off that one villager that was trying to wall up, and Unrestricted has actually walled up behind the barracks now. And another barracks going down. So a little bit similar to game 1, where Bob on the way up to Bronze Age started building some sort of like sneaky military unit. So it looks like it is just going to be broadsword for Bob, and Unrestricted actually adding in a couple of those Roman towers, which are actually going to be quite nice in defense against the broadswords. Once the sentry tower upgrade is in, which is coming in straight away. And it'd be interesting to see. Yeah, Unrestricted hasn't added in any more military buildings that I can see. Still just has the 2 barracks and the archery range. Don't know if this is just going to be an eco approach when Unrestricted just set himself up with extra TCs. Whereas Bob, you can see, doesn't have the wood for extra TC, so it looks like it's just going to be an all-in one TC broadsword push. He cancelled the broadsword. I guess that's to do it for the tech at home. Yep, that's wise. Get these in, the short sword pumping from these barracks at the front. Yeah, this is a little bit greedy by Unrestricted. He does have enough resources to actually just research broadsword himself and start making that unit. He's going artisanship though, and an extra layer of wall is coming up behind. These bows should really be up close here to try and prevent this from happening. The bow's going to be too late now yet. I think that might have been far enough away that I mean, bows could reach, but here we go. Unrestricted swapping in now. But there's already a good mass of swords at the front. And with the extra, these bowmen as well are actually pretty good into the swords line. They do still do the 2 bonus damage against the infantry. A lot of villagers are going to die here trying to put this wall up. Wheel is in, so they're always a little bit slippery. There still are a couple of slingers, but not a huge number. And the wall, I think, is going to get broken through. Stone thrower on the way. But again, potentially, Unrestricted's been a little bit too greedy here. Trying to go for 2 extra TCs when his opponent's already hammering down the walls. Bob needs to be on point, punishing the villagers now. Unrestricted getting away with adding in a couple of extra layers of wall though. And this is a siege workshop. No, just keep piling in the barracks. And he is actually through. Bob's through the wall there. But he's not... I don't know how he hasn't seen that. Stone throw in at the back now. Going to get a decent shot in. Oh, the wall's open. The gate's open. Unrestricted didn't lock his gate. The units are in. You can... I'm pretty sure you can lock the gate whilst it's being constructed now. I'm pretty sure they've added that as a change. So the swordsmen are in. Only 10 swordsmen from Bob. He's trying to hammer down the front door as well whilst he's in the middle. I've not actually seen only +2, +2, +4 for Unrestricted. With the Roman advantage, yeah. Bob just didn't have the techs. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you can lock the gates. Well, you can see it's locked now. That'll be locked for the rest of the game, I can assure you. But yeah, Bob still has a good number, but he hasn't built a siege workshop to try and break through these walls. Like I said, there was actually a gap in the wall there. So I'm just going to quickly go back. I went back too far. You delete it was open at this point, and Unrestricted hadn't built the wall there. Bob could have just slipped straight in. I mean, he built the gate and got in anyway, I guess, in the end. It looks like a few more units actually managed to get through there. Maybe that was just leftovers from the initial push in. But yeah, like I said, the Century Tower is going to be doing a very nice job of pushing away. I think Bob potentially one of these barracks needed to be just a singular siege workshop, just 1 stone thrower needed, and there we go. Siege workshop is coming down now. Just going to do a little bit of double speed. When I went back, we would have just dropped a little bit behind. But yeah, 14 to 39, and this is where the eco advantage is going to start showing itself. Bob needs to crack through and get damage done pronto. Medium wall coming in as we go back to live. And Bob just looks like he's kind of having a look around, see if he can find a weak spot. It's interesting, I feel like Bob always goes double siege workshop, but then like only ever builds like 2 stone throwers, so you could probably just queue up a couple of stone throwers from the 1 siege workshop and he'd probably be fine. He's going to take down the couple of barracks here. Unrestricted is actually housed, but he's getting pretty close to getting urbanization in. Bob's probably going to be pretty annoyed as he sees the walls being upgraded to medium wall. How many barracks does Unrestricted have? He does have 6 inside his wall still, so still plenty of those. And Hoplite being switched into now from Unrestricted. And if he gets a decent number of those up, then could be pretty tough. Unrestricted just walling up behind again. First stone thrower is out. Something else Bob could have been trying to do is potentially use those very annoying chosen towers to just tower off wood lines and such. The chosen tower actually does outrange stone throwers when they're fully upgraded. You can see at 7+2 with chosen it would be 7+4 for 11 range against the 10 of a stone thrower, which I think personally is a bit BS, but it is what it is. Bob looks like he is going to get through here now though. 21 swords and 6 hoplites. +4, only +2 armor in though still. Means those Roman swords should absolutely rip through here. Stone throwers in the back, we're going to see a big fight. And again, Bob lacking a bit of a technology upgrade there, and stone throwers getting good hits in. Bob feels forced to back away. Stone thrower going to get one hit in, but kind of moving a little bit too close to the action. Is going to get taken down here. Fight breaks out. Bob just calls GG. That's a shame. I think he probably just knew at this point, yeah, you can see in the score that he was just miles behind on eco. Bob just going for the 1 TC push. But yeah, like I said, I think potentially if Bob just saw that he was through at this point here, he was in, and it was 20-7 at this point. And then the other thing was just Bob missing those Bronze Age upgrades, which are very important. But yeah, Unrestricted not locking his gate before finishing it off, let the units in. Made that little bit exciting for a second there. And then again, potentially one of these barracks maybe should have just been a siege workshop to get the stone throwers out a little bit earlier. But in the end, 3-0 to Unrestricted. So Bob not able to improve on his this clash performance, unfortunately. But yeah, still decent effort from Bob. Like I said, in that first game, he was set himself from a pretty decent position, but maybe just needed to add in the Chariot Archer or something is just an extra option that first game. But yeah, had the interesting, like I said, the Archer Wars and the Infantry Wars, and the Romans winning out in the Infantry Wars in this game. And that brings us to the conclusion of this series. I think I am actually quite hungry, so I don't know if I'm going to stream much more for today. I had to start the game as soon as I got home from work. Popeye playing against Jesse on Mega Random, interesting. Like I said, we did have some other, I think, what games did we have earlier? Clash report. Well, okay, we had Jesse against Daniel. What time actually is it? It's 7:45 in the evening in the United Kingdom. I think I'm going to call it there for now, just because I've been streaming for quite a few days in a row. Actually, I didn't do Sunday, but I did do Saturday and yesterday and today and Thursday last week. So I think I'm going to go make myself some food and pass you over to someone else to just stream whatever games they're playing at the moment. So yeah, thank you for dropping by again, everyone. Looks like Jesse's streaming, so I'll hand you over to Jesse. I'm going to go grab something to eat, and I'm not going to be around to stream tomorrow evening. So I go to play cards at the local card shop on Wednesday evenings. But I will be back Thursday evening. I'm actually playing a Rise of the Ancients League game myself against Popeye, which I might join in some of the TGs just for a little bit of finger warm up later on tonight. What is Jesse's Jesse Jaguar? There he is. I will send you over to Jesse though, and I will bid you all adieu, and I'll catch you on the Thursday. Until then, goodbye.